So, thank you all for being here today. My name is Mo. Today I'll be talking to you about how we evaluated links between monthly income and perceived health. And I need a clicker. There we go. Okay, so let me just jump right into why I chose my project. As a little kid, I've always been interested in medicine. My whole family comes from medicine. My mom is a doctor, and she's taken me through all these things. And when I came to biological anthropology, I realized there's a way I can connect biological anthropology with clinical health. So I found this study by Milun-Pulo et al. In 1997, where it shows that perceived health, how we believe our health to be, as explained by Aaliyah, Swan, and Rachel, has a huge association with clinical health, meaning that if we believe our self-reported health to be very low, there's a very high chance that our clinical health is also very low. And if we believe our self-reported health to be very high, there's a very high chance that our clinical health is also very high. Moreover, a second association exists with the same thing, almost, self-reported health associated with mortality by Johansson and Sundquist, 1997. Obviously, 1997 was a huge year for this kind of stuff. But self-reported health, meaning that if you have a low self-reported health, you believe your health to be very low, there's a very high chance for morbidity. And if you believe your self-reported health to be very high, there's a very low chance for morbidity. So why do we care about self-reported health? You've seen this diagram before in Aaliyah's presentation. But Maslow's hierarchy of needs, published in 1943, states that if someone doesn't feel safe in their own body, if they have their perceived health to be very low, you're not going to have any belongingness or love needs, meaning no intimate relationships, not the ability to have friends. You're not going to be able to have any esteem, and you're not going to be able to have any self-actualization. And that's why perceived health is a very big deal. So if we believe that clinical health is an important factor, and if we know that self-reported health can affect clinical health, what affects self-reported health? That's where my project comes in. So we chose Utila Honduras, you've heard that before. We chose it due to a disparity between the Utilians, who are the Westerners who have come there and have civilized the area before, and the mainland Hondurans who are trying to escape poverty and trying to get a better life. Next, we have 110 participants in our study. Out of the 180 that Angela interviewed, I chose 110. And from that, we had 24% males, 76% females. And of those females, the average age was 39 years old with a range from 18 to 79. And the mean female BMI was 30.24 with a standard deviation of 6.45. For the males, 40.5 years old mean average age and 22 to 77 range. And a mean male BMI of 26.24 plus or minus 4.17 standard deviation. So the math behind it all. As Aaliyah explained, we had all these regressions in the coding program R, and we controlled for age, sex, and body mass index. So as I explained just before, if we have someone who's 18 years old, we don't want that to differ with someone from 79 years old, because that's going to be a huge differentiation between their self-reported health. And by controlling for those variables, we can make sure that the variables we care about, monthly income, sanitation conditions, and self-reported health, actually are a baseline and they matter. Same with sex. Someone who's pregnant, a female, and someone who's not pregnant, obviously a guy, could very much be different in their self-reported health, and that would mean that there's going to be huge variation. But by controlling for these variables, we make sure that our variables are still intact. Same for body mass index. I said we had 36 as our highest BMI and almost 21 with our lowest BMI, someone who's very obese versus someone who's very not obese. And that obviously could change things. Next, we have a mediation analysis. So I know that a mediation analysis is very complicated, and so I'm going to break it down for you. So what do you guys think is the most important thing that high school students and college students care about? Grades. There you go. So an analogy I've created. Grades can be this cause, and we know that grades lead to happiness. High grades, high happiness, right? Low grades, low happiness. But there's a mediator, and this mediator is self-esteem. Because what really happens is grades affect our self-esteem, and our self-esteem is what affects our happiness. Because if we have a low self-esteem, from our parents probably, then our happiness is probably very low. If we have a high self-esteem, that means our happiness is very high. And so, in that analogy, my monthly income becomes the grades. Monthly income on a Honduran lempiras, $1 US to approximately 20 Honduran lempiras, states that approximately 33% of the population has below $400 per month, and approximately 24% of the population has below $200 per month, with a total 80% of the population living below $800 per month. That's pretty low. Our average was a level 2, which was 5,000 to 10,000 Honduran lempiras, with a plus or minus deviation of 1.19. Next, sanitation conditions, where we see that 55% of people said they had the 3 following things. They had running water, they had an inside bathroom, and they had a private bathroom for their house only, or their family only. 6% of people their category of 1, said that they didn't have any running water. No, they had an outside bathroom, and it was a shared bathroom. And the other 2 are kind of a mix in between. So maybe they have an inside bathroom, but it's shared, and they have no running water or something like that. Next, perceived health. This is the big thing that we all really care about. So you see that we gave them 7 categories to choose from: 1, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, and 5. And they chose what they believed their self-aware health to be on that scale. And the average was 3.04. As you can see, 42.9% of the people chose 3.04. So, results. As we've heard before from Aaliyah's presentation, the p-value is the most important part, and you can see the p-value right here, 0.041 for monthly income. But as I said before, grades can affect happiness, but it's not the only reason. It's probably not even the real reason. And that's because sanitation conditions comes in. So sanitation conditions, you can see, has a much higher p-value, or much lower p-value, and a much higher correlation. And that's what really affects these self-aware health. So to do a mediation analysis, you do one, then you do the mediator, and then you do both. So when we put sanitation conditions and we control for monthly income, we see that we still have a huge, we have a huge p-value, or a very low p-value. That means it's still statistically significant. And when we control for sanitation conditions, we realize that monthly income is no longer significant, showing that it really is a true mediator. And of course, monthly income on sanitation conditions to show that it really does, monthly income really affects sanitation conditions as the grades would really affect our self-esteem. So this mediation analysis, I have no clue why the N is like that. Sorry about that. But this is the diagram to explain what really happens here. So our monthly income is like the grades, our self-aware health is like the happiness, and our sanitation conditions is like our self-esteem. So these percentages imply that for every increase in one category of monthly income, you have a 26.1% increase in every category for sanitation conditions. And for every increase in sanitation conditions, you have a 20.5% increase in self-aware health. And if you didn't include the mediator, if you didn't include the mediator, this huge line here, the monthly income would have a 22.4 increase for every category increase on self-aware health. But with the mediator included, you have an 18.1% increase. Now the 22.4 to 18.1, that's not actually 6.3%. That's a mistake. But, sorry. But it's not that high. However, it's still very statistically significant that monthly income by itself had a significant relationship, and monthly income with a mediator does not. So, future work, a more in-depth analysis of our sanitation conditions is probably going to be very, very useful because we only had 4 categories as of right now, but we can include more to 6 to make sure each one has an important part, or even more categories and more interviews with our material style of life interviews and how we got all this information. And why monthly income still affects, because you see there's still an 18.1% increase for every increase in category of perceived health. And why does monthly income still affect perceived health if sanitation concerns are taken out? That's the future work. I would like to acknowledge my mentor, Angela Garcia, my team, the wonderful team, Aaliyah, Swan, and Rachel, for all the songs you guys have made about me, for all the videos and all the things. Thank you so much. To Dr. Kim, to Michael Hughes, to my Bangalorean friends, Scott, Jason, Casey, Jake, Ayush, Evan, everyone out there, my friends, family, thank you so much for sending me here. Manny, Max, there you go, Daniel, everyone here, thank you so much for for allowing me to have such a wonderful time here. Thank you.